Hey Taurus, how's it going? This is your reading for April 2017. Happy birthday. Um, yeah, let's get started. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Follow my Twitter. Email me if you want a reading, etc., etc. So I didn't bother looking at you guys' last reading, but I know it's pretty tough. Judging, I remember it being really tough, judging by the views I got. But that's been the case for you guys, Taurus. I feel like I started this, and yeah, I'm at that point now where I'm able to sort of understand where, like, the individual story for each signs. Of course, these are very general, but I do feel like for each sign I do, there's like an overall thread. There's a common theme between each of the readings. And I feel like that's the case for you guys as well. Where it's more like, I've always gotten the sense that you guys might feel like you're fighting yourselves. Or that you have to adjust to things right now that aren't necessarily pleasant. Because I'm going to try to think about it, like, what is happening with you guys, like, astrologically, or I don't know what it is, but I just really think it's more of an energy where it's, like, asking you to come out of your shell. But we'll see with this reading. There's a lot of yellow, so to me that just symbolizes that there has to be some optimism with this, and endurance. And if anybody can take that task better, it's Taurus. And there's a lot of pentacles as well, a few. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Hangman in reverse. Six of Cups. The Magician in reverse. Four of Wands in reverse. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Nobody likes reversals, and that's fine. But to me, I think tarot's like, it's all initiatory energy. These are things that you're doing. So while they're reversed, they're still active energy. I don't see tarot, I told this to Libra, I don't see tarot as being like things that happen to us. I mean, there are things that happen to us, but this is our reaction to it. King of Pentacles. And again, these are very general. Justice. That actually came out reversed when I was shuffling the deck, so it was good to see it upright. Temperance. I remember it was your only upright card in your last reading. Three of Wands. And Strength reverse. So the average major arcana cards in most of these decks have been like 2 to 4, or with each of the readings have been like 2 to 4. So that's interesting. You guys might feel like you're fighting like a losing battle. Excuse me. You might feel like right now it's a time where I can tell you that right now is going to be an important time for you to understand how your actions and how your emotions, how they sort of, like how they impact your world. Like, I believe in the law. I believe in the golden rule. I believe in that, what goes around comes around, the most basic law of karma. There's more to it than that. But essentially, the energy we put out in the world is the energy we get back. And you can find that sort of in how waves work, how that energy never leaves. It's just always moving. Energy doesn't really go away. If I remember 8th grade science correctly, it's more like it's just a constant. And so, and that affects us because we take on other people's their positivity or negativity, their karma, um, and we give that back to them. And how, and that interaction really depends upon, our emotional intelligence, and it depends upon whether or not we actually want, I'm assuming that everybody that watches tarot, they are at least conscious of the fact that they're wanting to expand and become more awoke or awake, woke, or whatever. And so that this is just another process, a thing that's a part of that, I guess. But anyway, all of that's to say is that right now it's time for you to I feel like it's more of a time for you to sort of take the lessons from what you've known. Like, especially all of last year, the number 12 could be significant, or 13, excuse me, that's the hangman. No, it's 12, I was right. So yeah, like the last year, like the last 12 months, what have you learned? Because I understand, or what I see is that you're trying to get something underway, but I think you're going about it from the wrong direction. You need to approach it in a way that is more integrated, more patient, more healing. The Temperance has come up like a few times in these readings. And I usually see this card when it's more like there's strife, or there's a lot of emotional turmoil that needs to be sort of resolved, that needs to be temperance. Because I feel like that's another it's going to be important for you to sort of rein all of that in, especially with the cards that I see down here. But over here, it's more like the King of Pentacles is Taurus, so I see this as you guys. Male or female, doesn't matter. You know what you know, and you know more than what you probably want to admit to yourself. You know more than what your circumstances show, than what people tell you, or whatever. Like, I feel like you know what you want, and you know how to get it. And that's another recurring message I've got for you, Taurus, where it's like, I remember the Ten of Pentacles came up a couple times in your readings, where it's like you're having this desire to sort of, manifest like this ideal life, this ideal situation for you, this steady home life. And we have the Four of Wands up again. I remember that came up a few times, or maybe a couple times, but I remember in one reading it was pretty prominent. And so it's more like you have to be willing at this point, at this stage, to accept all the advice you've been given, to accept all of the, Taurus energy, whether or not you have a lot of Taurus in your chart or not. It's more about, you have to open yourselves up to other ways of seeing things and doing things. That's why, like, the Taurus energy and the Sagittarius energy, they don't see each other on the chart. So what Sagittarius represents, which is more adventurous, seeking new things and new avenues of wisdom, that might be a little bit harder for you guys to come into, because the Taurian energy, again, whether or not you identify with it totally, is more like, I see it and I believe it, the most down-to-earth energy, in my opinion. But I feel like life has shown you a lot of lessons. People have shown you a lot of things. The situations you've gone through, they've been eye-opening, to say the least. I'm sure in some realm of your life. And so right now with this King of Pentacles here is just telling me that, don't be afraid to sort of integrate these new lessons, or to understand how to put them into place, to understand their mode and to understand their function, to understand that certain feelings have their place, but certain realities have their place as well. Meaning that, we can idealize, or we can sort of assume things that are more suited toward our fantasy and toward our ideals instead of embracing the reality that's been given to us, embracing the reality that you've seen. And again, I'm getting the sense where it's more like having to bring everything into balance, into the laws natural, like the laws of nature, essentially, which is something else you can draw from justice. And it's also a karmic card in the sense that what needs to happen is more beneficial for you, is more beneficial for your life. I guess it's more beneficial for you right now in this period of your life, because we have the Six of Cups here, and the Six of Cups, it being the only cup, I see it as representing every spectrum of your emotions, like whether or not it's like romantic. It can also be familial. It can be just platonic. It can be healing. For yourself in a way that makes you want to actually heal others. And so I feel like it's going to be, not to fight this war against yourself, where you're more focused on probably more material things like money, or, probably finding a new job, or trying to find a new way to bring this into your life, which is important. But I feel like your intentions behind it is going to probably need a little bit of recalibrating, because I'm seeing you're trying, you don't want to actually approach whatever you want in a selfish way. You have to understand that it's not just you. Now, I don't know how I'm getting that message, but that just sort of came up because I'm looking at this Magician reverse and this Four of Wands reversed. This is in you as somebody else where you want to try to work it out with them, and you want to sort of understand where they're coming from. But I feel like you're doing most of the heavy lifting. Now, this is if you're in a romantic relationship, where it's like, I feel like there's so much history, or there's so much devotion that you have for this person and they have for you. But again, there's something about them, and there's something about this situation that I feel like you understand more about them than you've probably given yourself credit for. And I feel like it could be in direct relation to like your feelings for them, and whether or not these feelings are just, and whether or not they're deserving of the love that you're giving them, or whether or not you feel like you can give them love in a different way, or you feel like you can be a little bit more fair, or be a little bit more, I guess, diplomatic, in a way that you want, you want it to be more equal between you two, simply. But I feel like that they probably have most of the control, in a way that's seriously throwing you off balance. But I see this Temperance card as a gift as well, regardless of what you're going through. I see family here, work, love, any sort of individual endeavor you guys are undergoing. Like whether or not you're doing your own business venture where you're actually trying to reach out to new people. Justice is Libra, 7th house. So you're probably trying to like expand some aspect of your life right now where you want to get in touch with people that will actually help you do what you need to do. But regardless, it's more like it's all dependent upon your temperament, and it's all dependent upon how you see things, and whether or not you're being fair while doing so. Whether or not, I feel like, again, I was saying karma at the beginning of this reading, where it's like, we put out what we give back, or we give back what we put out. But don't ignore, I still feel like everything that you've learned like with regards to how people act and with regards to how you act and how you choose to treat people. I feel like that is going to be an important lesson going forward because you have to understand that, not everybody is going to sort of be in line with how you feel. Not everybody is going to agree with that. And I feel like a Taurus probably knows that better than anybody. um, where it's like, it's not always, it's okay to be stubborn and like fixed and rigid in your thoughts and your beliefs at some points, but at other points it's more detrimental. And I see it being more directly linked to your health, your emotional health. Because there are no swords here, which is a good thing, actually. So you guys aren't really in your own head, probably for some of you, but there are other matters that need tending to. And I'm seeing home things. I'm seeing like probably repairs in the home, or you guys want to move, or this could also be more of an energy where it's like it would be beneficial for you to understand that, we have the 3 and we have the 4, where it's more like, excuse me, especially if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel like you've achieved anything, or if you feel like you haven't made much of an impact in whatever aspect of your life, love, family, career, to sort of reach out. 3s have been in most of these readings. So I'm getting this just overall energy of everybody needing to sort of open up and be more communicative and be more interested in what other people have to say, be more interested in where our thoughts can take us, not sort of be limited by the 3D reality of our world, but to sort of transcend that and sort of understand that we can achieve more in practical ways. And I feel like you guys are probably struggling on the practical front. You guys might have a really good idea, but it's more like you're not sure how to bring it together. This Temperance card is reminding me of like meditation. Some of you might really need to meditate to like understand like where you want to put all this energy. Because I'm getting like restlessness. It's more like, okay, so now what sort of energy? As we're heading into your season, Taurus. And so it's more like, with the sun in your 12th house, it's more about sort of understanding, again, the number 12, understanding, like looking back on the past year, understanding where you've been, and trying to figure out whether or not, what changes are necessary, what changes you need to make in order to like make the next year better for yourself, especially if the last year was pretty bad. Regardless, if last year was pretty good, how do we capitalize on that? How do we make that better? Some of you might just be a little bit complacent right now, where it's like you probably don't feel like you have to necessarily do anything. Maybe this is none of these cards are really that stressful, so there's no really conflicting energy. So it's more about, for you guys, it could be just about, just enjoying yourself. So that's what this for, understanding that you don't really need to move from this situation. Because with the upright, it's like you're encouraged, like go a little bit further, taking your time, realizing what you celebrated, but also like going forward. But with the reverse, it's more like, especially with this 3 of Wands, it's like more contemplative. So you're more just like, okay, you're chilling. But, I feel like staying creative and at least staying like some sort of passion, having some passion behind that, understanding where to go next will be important for you guys, like taking that time out. So some of you just do need that time out. And I feel like probably Aries season, well, we've had a lot of crazy ass planets in Aries lately. So maybe it hasn't been the most stress-free time, but at least now, with that new moon and full moon in Libra, actually a couple days ago, you might understand that, okay, things are a little bit more cool now. So, where can I take, what do I want to do next, essentially? And that could also be like if you're dating people, like you just want to like chill for a little bit, or you're more scrutinizing, you're more particular. And that's not bad. But beware of anybody that really wants to pull the wool over your eyes. And then, again, that's another lesson that you might have learned within the past year. And so now going forward, it's more about just putting in the work that you were more comfortable with, understanding what you want to do. Strength reverse, I'm not seeing it as anything really bad right now in this reading, where it's like, because I feel like you're undergoing this process of just being more comfortable with yourself, understanding that, not everything's going to work out, understanding that, especially, like I said, going into Taurus season, what works for you and what doesn't, the people that work for you and what doesn't. But don't fight yourself. Don't undermine the fact that some of you really need to heal yourselves. Some of you need to be more fair in terms of the love you give or in the love that you expect to receive. And some of you will be just important to not overlook these lessons, to overlook, again, this wisdom you've gained for yourself from the past year, this understanding of yourself, your body, your efforts, your work, understanding where it's taken you, understanding where you can go from here, realizing that, at the end of the day, your temperament and how you choose to talk to people, how you choose to take in your karmic lessons, how you choose to observe the people around you, learn from them, learn from your own mistakes as well, and sort of implement that into something that's either more therapeutic for you, more rewarding, in the sense that I'm getting the sense that a lot of you want to attract this to you, which is a very Taurian, Libran, Venus sort of energy. But also, if that's not the case, realizing how to bring that to you, how to sort of make it so, you can bring all these people into your life, all these creative ideas, all this love, all this passion and joy, either bring it to you, but there's Three of Wands, you have to go out and get it. For some of you, you don't really have to do that. I feel like the older ones. But if you're younger, taking these lessons, not being afraid of them, and just sort of going forward and going through it anyway, because I feel like you'll still learn more about yourself and learn more about your sort of toughness, Taurus. But also, it would be wise to sort of smoothen those edges. But I feel like that process will come the further you go into this. So yeah, again, happy birthday for the Tauruses who have birthdays this month. Have a great Taurus season. I will see you guys more than likely during the Taurus season. So, adios.